Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring two classic and historic American coins, the 1 cent 1957 and the 1 cent 1958D. These coins belong to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series and represent the final years of an iconic design in United States coin history. In this video, we will look at their history, design details, mint marks, and why these pennies are still important for collectors today. So stay with me till the end to discover what makes these two old coins special and worth learning about. The 1 cent 1957 coin is a classic United States penny that belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a design that is deeply respected by collectors and historians because it represents a long and important period in American numismatic history. This coin was produced during a time when the United States was experiencing economic growth, cultural change, and rising global influence after World War II. The 1957 1 cent coin is made primarily of copper, with a composition of about 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it the rich reddish-brown color that many collectors admire. Because of this high copper content, the coin also has intrinsic metal interest, especially in later years when copper prices increased, although its main value remains historical and collectible rather than melt value. The obverse of the 1957 1 cent coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which was first introduced on the cent in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner, and by 1957 it had already become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Lincoln is shown facing to the right, with a calm and dignified expression that reflects his role as a unifying figure in American history. Above his head appears the word liberty, a fundamental value of the nation, while the motto "In God We Trust" is displayed along the upper edge of the coin. The date, 1957, is positioned to the right of Lincoln's portrait, clearly marking the year of issue. On coins struck at the Denver Mint, a small D mint mark appears below the date, while coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark at all, which is typical for that era. The reverse side of the 1957 1 cent coin displays the well-known wheat ears design, which is why these coins are commonly called wheat pennies or wheat cents. Two stylized wheat stalks curve upward along the left and right edges of the coin, symbolizing prosperity, agriculture, and abundance, values that were especially important in early 20th century America. Between the wheat stalks, the words 1 cent are prominently displayed in the center, indicating the coin's denomination. Above this appears E pluribus unum, a Latin phrase meaning out of many one, which reflects the unity of the states. At the bottom of the reverse is the inscription United States of America. The overall design is simple yet elegant, and by 1957, it was nearing the end of its run, as the wheat design would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. In terms of minting, the 1957 1 cent coin was produced in very large numbers, especially at the Philadelphia Mint. Hundreds of millions of coins were struck to meet the everyday needs of commerce, making this penny very common in circulation at the time. The Denver Mint also produced a significant quantity of 1957 D cents, though typically in smaller numbers than Philadelphia. Because of these high mintages, most 1957 1 cent coins are not considered rare, particularly in circulated condition. Many people still remember finding these coins in pocket change decades ago, and even today they are frequently encountered in old collections, jars of pennies, and inherited accumulations. Despite being common, the 1957 1 cent coin holds strong appeal for collectors, especially beginners. It is often included in Lincoln Wheat Cent albums and sets, and many collectors enjoy searching for well-preserved examples with sharp details and original luster. Coins that have been heavily circulated usually show wear on Lincoln's cheek, jaw, and coat, as well as flattening of the wheat stalks on the reverse. In contrast, uncirculated or mint-state examples retain much of their original shine, with crisp lettering and strong detail throughout the design. These higher-grade coins are more desirable and can command higher prices in the collector market. Color is another important factor when evaluating the value of a 1957 1 cent coin. Because of the copper content, these coins can appear in different color classifications, commonly referred to as red, red-brown, and brown. Red coins retain most of their original mint luster and bright copper color, making them the most valuable among collectors. Red-brown coins show a mix of original red color and natural toning, while brown coins have darkened over time due to oxidation and handling. Most circulated examples are brown, while red examples are typically found only in uncirculated condition. Errors and varieties also add interest to the 1957 1-cent coin. While major errors are not extremely common for this year, collectors do look for minor die varieties, such as double dies, repunch mint marks on Denver issues, off-center strikes, and other minting anomalies. Any such error can significantly increase the value of a coin compared to a normal example, especially if the error is clear and visually striking. These varieties are part of what keeps the search for old pennies exciting, even for years that are otherwise considered common. Historically, the year 1957 sits near the end of the wheat cent era, which ran from 1909 to 1958. This makes the 1957 1-cent coin part of the final chapter of a beloved design. The following year, in 1958, will be the last year of the wheat reverse, and in 1959, the Lincoln Memorial design would take its place. Because of this, some collectors enjoy assembling late-date wheat cent sets, with 1957 being an essential piece of that story. The coin represents continuity and tradition just before a major design change in U.S. coinage. In everyday terms, the 1957 1-cent coin originally had the same purchasing power as any other penny, but its real significance today lies in its connection to American history and daily life in the 1950s. It was used to buy newspapers, candy, postage, and other small items during a time when prices were much lower than they are now. Holding a 1957 penny can feel like holding a small piece of that era, a tangible reminder of how people lived, worked, and spent money more than half a century ago. For collectors and enthusiasts, the 1957 1-cent coin is valued not just for rarity or price, but for its role in a long and meaningful series. It is often recommended for new collectors because it is affordable, easy to find, and rich in historical context. At the same time, advanced collectors may seek out top-grade examples or interesting varieties to complete high-quality sets. Whether found in circulated condition with signs of age or preserved in mint state with glowing copper color, the 1957 1-cent coin continues to be appreciated as a classic and enduring symbol of American coinage history. Next, 1-cent 1958 D coin. The 1-cent 1958 D coin is one of the most historically meaningful and emotionally important pennies in United States coinage because it represents the final year of the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a design that had been in continuous use since 1909. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse. By 1958, the wheat cent had already become a familiar part of everyday American life, and millions of people had used these coins in daily transactions for nearly half a century. The 1958 D 1-cent coin stands at the closing point of that long tradition, making it especially attractive to collectors who value historical endings as much as beginnings. The coin is composed of approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc, the standard composition used for Lincoln cents during that era. This high copper content gives the coin its warm reddish tone when new, and explains why older examples often show brown or chocolate-colored surfaces after decades of circulation. The weight of the coin is about 3.11 grams, and its diameter is approximately 19 millimeters. These physical characteristics remain consistent throughout most of the wheat cent years, giving the series a uniform and familiar feel that collectors appreciate when assembling complete sets. On the obverse side of the 1958 D 1-cent coin appears the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait was revolutionary when it was first introduced in 1909, as it marked the first time a real historical person appeared on a regularly circulating U.S. coin. By 1958, Lincoln's image had become one of the most recognizable and respected designs in American numismatics. Lincoln is shown facing to the right, with strong yet calm facial features that reflect dignity, leadership, and resolve. The word liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is placed along the upper rim. The date 1958 appears to the right, with a small D mint mark just below it, clearly identifying the coin as a Denver Mint issue. The reverse of the coin features the iconic wheat ears design, that gives the wheat cent its popular nickname. Two wheat stalks rise along the left and right edges of the coin, framing the central inscriptions. At the center, the denomination 1 cent is displayed in bold lettering, while above it appears the phrase E pluribus unum, symbolizing unity among the states. Along the bottom edge is United States of America. This reverse design symbolizes agriculture, prosperity, and growth, themes that were deeply important to the nation during the early 20th century. The wheat ears also connect the coin to America's farming heritage, reminding users of the country's roots and values. The Denver Mint produced a very large number of 1958 D1 cent coins, numbering in the hundreds of millions. These high mintages were necessary to supply the growing economy of the late 1950s, when population growth and consumer spending were increasing. Because of this large production, the 1958 D penny is generally considered common, especially in circulated condition. Many examples survived in everyday use, and it is still possible today to find 1958 D wheat cents in old collections, inherited jars of coins, or estate accumulations. Even though the coin is common, its status as a last year of the wheat cent design gives it special importance. In 1959, the reverse design of the Lincoln cent was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, marking a new era in U.S. coinage. As a result, the 1958 D1 cent coin represents the final expression of a design that served the nation for 49 years. This end-of-era significance makes it a key date for collectors completing wheat cent albums and sets. Condition plays a major role in determining the desirability of a 1958 D1 cent coin. Most circulated examples show wear on Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and coat, as well as flattening of the wheat ears on the reverse. These coins often appear brown due to oxidation and handling over time. Uncirculated examples, on the other hand, retain sharp details, original mint luster, and stronger color. Coins with a bright red appearance are especially prized, as they indicate minimal exposure to air and handling since the time of minting. Red-brown coins fall between fully red and fully brown, showing partial original color mixed with natural toning. Collectors also pay attention to strike quality on the 1958 D cent. Some examples exhibit strong, well-defined details, while others may show weakness in areas such as the wheat lines or Lincoln's hair due to dye wear or minting conditions. Coins with sharp strike and clean surfaces are more desirable, particularly in higher grades. Bag marks, spots, and discoloration can reduce a coin's appeal, even if it has not been circulated. Errors and varieties add another layer of interest to the 1958 D1 cent coin. While the Denver issues are not as famous as the extremely rare 1958 double die obverse from the Philadelphia Mint, minor errors do exist. These can include off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, and other minting anomalies. Such error coins are actively sought by specialists and can command significantly higher prices than normal examples, depending on the visibility and rarity of the error. From a historical perspective, the 1958 D1 cent coin reflects life in America during the late 1950s. This was a period of economic optimism, technological advancement, and cultural change. The penny played a role in everyday transactions, from buying candy and newspapers to making exact change at local stores. Although its purchasing power was modest, it was an essential part of daily commerce, and millions of people handled these coins without giving much thought to their future collectible value. Today, the 1958 D1 cent coin is appreciated not only as a collectible, but also as a symbol of continuity and transition in American coinage. It bridges the gap between the long-running wheat cent series and the modern Lincoln Memorial cents that followed. For many collectors, owning a 1958 D penny feels like owning the final page of a long and important chapter in U.S. monetary history. Because it is affordable and widely available, the 1958 D1 cent coin is often recommended for beginner collectors, while its historical importance keeps it relevant for advanced numismatists as well. Whether found in a worn brown state that tells a story of decades in circulation, or preserved in bright red condition that looks nearly new, the 1958 D wheat cent remains a respected and meaningful coin. It stands as a lasting reminder of the end of an era, the craftsmanship of traditional American coin designs, and the everyday history carried quietly in the smallest denomination of U.S. currency. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning about this coin and found the information helpful and interesting. If you like coin collecting, rare coins, and valuable old money, make sure to like this video and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming coin videos. Your support really helps the channel grow. Let me know in the comments what coin you want to see next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.